Hello, everyone. I just want to mention, first of all, if you can hear me, let me know. I'm looking to maybe sell some art if anyone's interested. Let me know. I'm going to pick a few here. Now, I do have some Pigman original art, but I gotta say I'm reluctant to move it if it's not gonna be for a higher price. That's just the way it is. I don't mean to dictate to you guys what what the auction might go to, but again, I'm not precious about my original art, but when it comes to my story art, yeah, I'm a little more precious about that. Things like this, where Pigman goes into the enemy lair. And if you look at it, it's a lot of fine line work there. A little more detailed than my normal stuff. And that was supposed to be a snapshot of Captain America. You know, my little wink to Captain America. Hey, Michelle. Sup? I got my Pigman original art from issue 2. If anyone's interested, let me know. But again, for my story art, I gotta go. I can't part with it for less than $350. My story art. My other art, that's up to you guys. You know, you let me know what you're willing to pay for it. There's something that I did very, very long ago. It was a little idea that I had about art galleries and all the bullshit that comes with it. So I got one guy saying, just look at the execution. Superb. And the other guy's like, not quite. They hung it but forgot to bury it. Hail, Stormtrooper Julian Caesar. Yeah, just if anyone might be interested. I know this is impromptu, but let me know. Something I did at the 75th anniversary of the Fountainhead. There's how it worked. Ayn Rand's heroic architect had one of his buildings is being constructed, and he's there directing some of the people there. I sold alternative cover to Table for One, my first graphic novel. Hey, C-Naps. I guess snaps, right? Art. How's it going? I sold an original alternative cover to Table for One, my first graphic novel, and it was all white instead of this. And this is a same take on it. It's just in all black and white. So if anyone's interested in this, let me know. This is 14 by 17, a little bigger than my usual stuff. This is James Dean as Muhammad. Prophet Without a Cause. This is another 14 by 17. This was something that I did after Captain America was turned into a Nazi by Marvel, if you recall that. Marvel turned him into a Nazi, and they actually did. They turned him into a Nazi, a member of Hydra, and then some comic fans to try to get away from that. Cheers, Salty. They tried to say, oh, no, he wasn't really, turned a Nazi. Yeah, yes, he was. Well, Hydra aren't real Nazis. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Anyway, so this is me, through Captain America, calling Marvel the Nazis, calling them the National Socialists, calling them the socialists that they are, not Captain America. And I couldn't stand that. I just couldn't stand that they did it to him. And then supposedly the idea is, got a lot of deep thrum to audio. What does that mean? Is it okay now, Salty? Let me put a little. Peter Samuel, hi. Let me know if this is okay, Salty. Let me know. And then I got this one. I did this when pictures were being sent out of what's the name? Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. Okay, good. Thanks, Salty. I'll keep it closer to me right now. Hopefully it's not too loud. I did this after Joaquin Phoenix was the first pictures of him as a Joker. And from what I was hearing from leftists, they were already like cheering him. The worse it gets, huh? Okay. Praetor says, Praetor 7 says, sounds fine to him. I don't know. I hope it's okay, guys. Anyway, this is another one that I did. Joker Woker. And again, if anyone's interested in these, I'm selling these. The ones that I showed right now, I'll go through them again. And then again, the Pigman pages, I can't go, if anyone's interested, I can't go cheaper than, $350 for my story art. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do that. It's too much involved, too much thought, too much care, too much. Is that possible? Interesting. Interesting. Let me know. So yeah, I'm gonna run through these again, and if anyone has any offers, let me know. Again, this is a smaller one. An original art, man, 20 years ago, longer. I think I did it when I was a little fed up with the whole art scene and art galleries and all that bullshit. So I had two guys talking. One guy says, just look at the execution, superb. And the other guy says, not quite. They hung it, but forgot to bury it. You know, I think it's funny. Hey, Jody, how are you? So guys, I'm just selling some original black and white art. I will sign it if you guys get it. This is, again, Howard Rourke, the heroic architect of Ayn Rand's novel, The Fountainhead, at the construction of one of his buildings. I just showed this, but I'll show it again. This is, it's pretty self-explanatory. Joker, Woker. This is James Dean as Muhammad. Prophet without a cause. I like how the letters came out. I do. This. And then an alternate cover I did prior to working on my graphic novel, my first graphic novel, Table of One. I sold a similar one to this. The opposite of this basically was a white one with some darker letters. And now I flipped black and white. 14 by 17. Yo, just saying. And then I have this one, which was my answer to Marvel after they made Captain America, turned him into a Nazi. They did this a number of years ago. It was a socialist writing it, and he tried to turn Captain America into a National Socialist, which is what they are, the left. So I said, you're the Nazis, Marvel. Captain America doing the old, Uncle Sam bit, So yeah, if anyone's interested, let me know. Give me an offer. And these can be yours. I will sign them. This is already signed in white ink, if you notice it. Corner. So, let me know. Let me know, guys. And again, I have a few pages from my Pigman comic book. I've stated before, I'm not really precious about my art, but I will say, one second. But I will say that I've become a little more hesitant to part with my story art. Art says, I know the feeling seeing finger paint selling for obscene amounts while critics act like it's incredible, pretentiously mocking those who don't understand. It's, I don't know. I don't know. I sold my original winning Muhammad drawing. I tried to sell it for a lot more than some people were willing to buy, but I said, if they're going to sell this shit for anything, for millions of dollars, this shit, I figure I should be able to sell mine for thousands, however much I ended up selling it for. But if anyone's interested in my black and white art, those things, they're negotiable. When it comes to my Pigman story art, my bottom is 350. That's just the way it is. Make comic books great again. Good to see you as well. So this is a moment from Pigman number 2. It's a life or death moment. Truly is. I mean, right. There's a split second there where he could absolutely have died. This is another one where he goes into the lair of Al Qaeda after 9/11, and if you look close, got some fine detail brush work, and the sound effects. Scoosh, gutting the guy, beheading them, and yes. Salty says, I love the Captain America prints. Prints, as in P-R-I, and is it one of a kind? Yeah. This is just in the actual original art, Salty. This is an original art. It's an original piece of art. It's not a copy. It's not a print. I hand drew this, and I will sell the original to anyone who's interested. If you're interested, give me an offer, and we'll see how it goes, and it'll be yours. So this is an original drawing by me. Brushwork, India ink, and I signed it in the corner in white ink. Thanks, Make Comics Rated. So yeah, this is and then there's one. Here's another moment from Pigman number 3, where he gets a little overwhelmed by the savages at the Kaaba. They get the upper hand. Yeah, Art says Hunter Biden's art, quote unquote, burned in California. He had it insured, so he's getting a massive payday. Yeah, unfortunately, that piece of shit, just a con man, making a buck wherever he can. This is another one. I had fun with this page. It was a literal cliffhanger in issue 1 of Pigman, so this is the continuation of that. And the jihadists are jumping off the cliff. He jumps off the cliff and they follow him, but he has some backup. They don't. And he says, madmen, misogynists dying and killing for 72 women, only in Islam. And then his backup plan doesn't go well. Doesn't go according to plan. This is another action scene. And again, the Pigman pages, I can't go under 350. If that's too much for you, I get it. And now this is I can finish if anyone's interested, I can finish the dark ink here, because what I did was I ended up, I finished the black gutters on Photoshop. But, that's how it'll look when it's all done. You got this fine detail here also, the perspective lines from the bricks. And if you know this scene, cool. Salam is trying to force Killian to recite the Shahada, which is a declaration of faith. And once you declare that, you're Muslim. That's it, right? That's the idea. I mean, think about that. What kind of religion is like? That's it. That's the only thing you don't need. You could be a criminal, you could be a murderer, you could be anything as evil. But if you say those words, okay, now you're all good. It's ridiculous. Art said, I love the middle of that page, like he's wading through zombies. Which one is this? Yeah, I think you're referring to this one, where the Islam zombies are going off, and they do have the upper hand here. Hello, Jeremy. They have the upper hand here, and it's a little dire. But, And then in the published version, in the printed version, I have Allahu Akbar is Allahu Akbar, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until they're screaming their heads off, Allahu Akbar. God is greatest, God is greatest, Allah is greatest. Yeah, so all the Pigman parts, if I didn't tell you, they're all inked in brush. And then the Killian parts are all inked in the pen. Just to contrast the two. The gutters and the Pigman are white. The gutters in Killian's parts are filled in black. So yeah, you guys, let me know if you're interested. Let me know. I will just be clear again. My Pigman pages are worth more. It's more work involved. It's my story pages. I can't sell them for under $350. The other ones, that's up to you. If you want something like this, Captain America calling out Marvel for turning him into a Nazi, calling them Nazis, you know. I hear you. Snaps. I mean, my version of art goes for 300 average, but you give me an offer. You give me an offer. If you're interested in something, let me know, and we'll go from there. You know, I do these pieces of art. I hear you, Art. I get it, man. Believe me. So yeah, Synapse. Give me an offer. If you want to make it here or on X message, let me know. Give me an offer. It's 11 by 17. Howard Rourke directing the construction of one of his designs. And then again, I have this one as well. This is an alternate cover to my first graphic novel, 201. I sold the other one recently on Ethan's auction, and it was a all white version, and this is all black and white. And then I have one Muhammad drawing among these. I have James Dean as Muhammad, Prophet Without a Cause. You know, Rebel Without a Cause, if you don't know. So yeah, let me know. Synapse, let me know. Give me an offer and we'll go from there. And then, of course, this last one, the Walker. So yeah, let me just show you. I don't have that. Damn it! I don't have the one that I was going to show you. In terms of the guys, they're screaming their head off. Thanks. Yeah. Let me know. We'll go back and forth. I have again this one. This is probably a more affordable one. If anyone's interested, you just let me know what you're willing to pay. We'll go from there. Again, this is my reaction to the art gallery movement, the pretentious bastards who go out there and they sell absolute shit for a ton of money. Literally is a white canvas with white paint on it for millions of dollars. There's a canvas with red paint on it, different shades of red, millions of dollars. It's not objectively worth that at all. And this is why that gives a bad name to art. That kind of art is when they say art is subjective. No, that's shit. But that's why people say that. You know, good art is an objective thing. You know it. This is good, of a high quality. You might like it a little more. You might like it a little less than others. But everyone has to recognize this is quality stuff. That's it. Polar bear in a snowstorm. Yeah. Pork hunt. Are you referring which real Ditko vibe? Are you referring to this one? If so, cool. But yeah, so this is my smallest piece tonight. If anyone's interested, let me know. It's a fun piece. It was my just mocking the art movement, art gallery movements, the assholes who try to sell shit for millions and do, and the idiots who buy it. And they set the standard for these terrible, pieces of shit art that are being released. And if you notice the background, you got those type of paintings with just blurs, blobs, and nothing. It's interesting. I walked through, I was walking the other day, and I'm walking past a gallery, and they have these superheroes of these paintings, and you walk by, Superman turns into Batman. It's pretty cool. With glowing eyes. I thought that was cool. I haven't seen that in a gallery. And again, yeah, guys, if you don't make an offer here, give me an offer on X for anything you might want. Let me know, and we'll go from there. This is, yeah, it's, again, it's like art is subjective. No. Good art is an objective fact. It's a thing. People, most decent people, can recognize the fact that. By the way, check this out. Just had that made. Very, very, very pleased with it. Very, very cool. My man. Anyway, Porkhunt says to art, he goes, Neil Howell actually used shit in his paintings. Oh my God. I'm not surprised. You know, the asshole Jackson Pollock, who I said in Table for One, as a character says, you know, this guy gave Pollocks a dumb rep, you know? Anyway, supposedly the word is that he threw up in his paintings and left it there as part of the painting. His puke. The drunkard, you know, the bum. Riding his bicycle over it as well. You know, he was an asshole and a mean, vicious, violent drunk. And unbelievable. But yeah, so I got these pages of Pigman art. This is my homage to Captain America. You know, the star. Yeah, but here it's an Islamic shield that he finds and uses. He actually uses it with a good cause. Beheads some of these guys. Pummels them to death. Like that guy right there. That guy right there is beheaded. Huh. Porkhunt says, irony of Pollock is he died in a car accident. End of his life. Imitated his art. Yeah. Yeah, he looked probably like he splashed. He became Splatter. Such an asshole. And then that other commie played him. What's his name? Ed Harris. Great actor, you know, but an absolute flat-out commie. I remember when Elia Kazan was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't know what it was, 20, 30 years ago. And the commies in Hollywood hated him because supposedly he named names. You know, he named communists. And Ed Harris is sitting there. He did his great acting job, you know. Not nice, Ed. He's such a drama queen whore. He's like, looking at him. And, hey, it's so funny. Still, to this day, you know, he's highly regarded as a great director, Elia Kazan, regardless of the fact that he named names. Yeah, he named communists. He was part of the movement himself. And then he said, you know what? Whatever. I mean, it was UHAC, right? The Un-American Activities. What was it? Un-American Activities Act. They had hearings on that. Ayn Rand spoke there, and she was talking about how they, you know, shove in their stuff into their movies, and they did, and they still do, and they got away with it in a lot of ways. I mean, McCarthy, they call it a witch hunt. He was doing a communist hunt, and he caught a lot of them. And he's the one vilified. Why? Because the communists vilified him. The communist media, Communist Democrat Party, Nazi-crats, commie-crats, all these rats. So I'm going to go through one more time of these original art, and then we'll just call it night. And again, if you're interested, let me know. Make a offer here or message me. Again, this is James Dean as Muhammad, Prophet Without a Cause, like Rebel Without a Cause. House Un-American Activities Committee. Thanks, Mr. Solomon. Appreciate it. That's right. I have this alternate cover to my first graphic novel, Table for One, if anyone's interested in owning it. Again, this is all original art. This is, you know, hand-drawn original art here. The lettering is hand-drawn, everything here. And again, I'm not going to dictate to you how much you guys should pay, but keep in mind that for my story art, I don't go under $350 for my story art. I just don't do that. But for my individual drawings here and there, Marvel made Captain America Nazi, and this is my way of hitting back at that. Captain America calling them Nazis. Someone was interested in this. If anyone else is, let me know. Hail, Grogu. How it worked, the Fountainhead, at a construction, one of his designs. And then the Woker. The Woker. So yeah, guys, let me know if you're interested. And also this one. Again, this is my... you can own this one as well. It's a smaller piece of art, but it's fun. You know, just look at the execution, superb. Not quite. They hung it, but forgot to bury it. Grogu says okay, I hear the noise that Salty was talking about now. What the hell, guys? I don't know. It's so funny. I don't hear anything. There's nothing on. Let me try something quick. This really sucks. I mean, I have a microphone. It's a really good one. I don't know. I have it on the right settings. I have it here. I just double checked it. Let me know, guys. So, Grogu says Bosch lives in a plane. Prove me wrong. Whew. No, I don't, Grogu. This is a Mac. This is a desktop. No problem, Art. Hey, when you can, you know. No problem at all. I get it. Believe me. No problem at all, man. Good for you. You know, you take care of yourself and get what you can when you can. That's all. Hello, Diana. Thanks. Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's a low hum. I am on a, well, again, sorry, Stormtrooper Julius Caesar. This is a desktop. This is a desktop. I don't hear anything on my end. It must be, clearly it's something. Clearly, but I don't know what. Believe me, if I could turn it off, I would right now. Interference, yeah, maybe. I mean, could be your tower fan. The noise isn't always there, but it does happen. I don't know. The internal fan on the computer is what you're saying? I guess. Even though it's like, to my ear, there's nothing going on there. So I don't know. But again, I got this made. Check it out, guys. War paint. Mr. Solomon, he goes, your sound is good. If you could isolate the mic from the desk a little, it would help. A mic arm which suspends the mic to isolate it from vibration might help. Yeah, there is that. I guess that's something to consider. Because a few people have complained about it, and I'm like, I don't want it to hear that. Okay. Yeah. I want to make sure I get this right, guys. Okay, just thought maybe VidCard fan. Maybe. Thanks, Diana. She says using your phrases Nazi-crats and their systemic leftism. Yeah, their systemic leftism, that's our greatest problem. You know, the left's, the systemic rest. They also talk about the systemic systems of this, that, racism. Systemic leftism, that's our greatest problem. It's the problem that makes us weak to the Islamic enemy. It's like people tell me, well, no, Islam's the greatest problem, jihad. It's not. Because if we were a healthier nation, it wouldn't be a problem at all. We would wipe them out. It's a left who's doing that. Okay. Maybe put a towel under your mic to test. Okay, let me see that, guys. Thanks for the tips, by the way. I guess it could be sensitive like that, right? The that aspect. You guys tell me if this sounds okay now. Thanks for the tips, by the way. I appreciate it because I don't, on my end, I don't. First of all, I can't hear myself. I know people have headphones that I don't know. It's a little annoying to be wearing that, to be honest, especially for a long time. I just did that. I put a towel, so. Huh. Mr. Solomon said there was a big hum when I walked away. Huh. Art says he's being haunted by a jinn, which is a Islamic demons. Even though I guess they can call them, some call them angels, but they're demons. Mike is picking up EMF. If I joke about it, don't worry. Maybe put a towel under your mic to test. I just stopped. Maybe a VidCard fan. I don't know, but okay. Anyway, I hope it's okay, guys. Okay, Jody, thanks. Jody hears me perfectly. So, you know what? It's all you guys. Jody's fine. No, I'm joking. All right, guys. So, I just wanted to show off those pieces. If anyone's interested, let me know. Message me if you want. I'll go through them one more time. And again, the Pigman pages. My story art, I'm not going to sell it for under $350. Again, that's not a demand on you guys. It's just a point that I don't feel comfortable. I think I sold one of the pages on the first auction I was on with Ethan. I slightly regret it because I was like, I parted with it for too low. Because again, I'm not precious about my art. It's raw material in the end. The whole point of it is to do the story, to be published as a book. That's the whole idea. Less table bump sound. Okay. That soothed the noise. Grogu. I hear you perfectly, Bosch. Okay. It seems like maybe something has been fixed here. So thanks, guys. I'm going to keep my hand from, banging a table and what else I can do. I put a towel there. Hopefully it may have helped. I hope so. So yeah, guys, one more time. You have the Woker. You have this one. Excuse me. I get it, pork hunt. No problem. Yeah, so again, I'm not telling you guys what you guys should pay this out, auction. People make their own offers and then I decide if I want to let go with it or not. We'll do that. But when it comes to my story art, I can't go under $350. I just can't. I love my stories. I put a lot into it, a lot of thought into the design. So I feel like, I just don't want to let go with it. Okay, thanks, Diana. Diana says, I'm watching your live stream from my cell phone. I hear you just fine. Thank you. Porkman says, I'm interested in the Pigman page, but need to sort my other purchase from you next week. A lot of purchase from me next week. I'm not sure what you mean, but thanks. And again, someone was interested in this one. Maybe he's going to message me, so I'll check it out after. If it just needs to be isolated, you could get a mic arm. Mic arm, what does that mean? Do you mean something hanging, art, or something else? And again, this is 14 by 17, an alternate cover to Table for One, my first book. This is 22 years old, or 23 years old, because I finished that book, and man, I was working on it, early 2000s, and then finished it within that year 2002. I was in San Diego Comic-Con. All 81 pages of my graphic novel. Brought it to publishers, thinking I can get interest from them. They were interested. They thought it was a great thing, having this entire graphic novel. But I think some of them felt, I got to say, looking back, I think some of them felt a little reluctant because they were like, they could have no say-so. It was already written, penciled, inked, lettered. You know what I mean? So they had no direction to give me after that. I see. Okay. Thanks, Porco. Cool. Thanks for getting them, by the way. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, I didn't know who's who. I got the screen names. I don't know who's who or buy them or not. I don't. Your name is now Pork Hunt, so sometimes I don't know who buys my stuff. Which one of you guys are the guys? This is another one after Marvel turned Captain America into a Nazi. I have him calling them Nazis. And the reason why I have that is because, they are convenient keeping it off your desk and making it easy to move around. Okay, it clamps to your desk. Art says about the mic arm. It clamps to your desk, suspends your mic in the air to isolate it. Convenient keeping it off your desk and making it easy to move around. I guess so. If I'm going to do this more, I want to make sure I get no hiccups. The less hiccups, the better. You don't want to get in the way of your whatever you're saying. You just don't. I don't. So again, guys, Captain America, and then the final one is my Muhammad cartoon of James Dean as Muhammad. Prophet Without a Cause. It's a big one, 14 by 17. Check it out. No bids on the Captain America yet, Salty. I think someone expressed interest, but no solid bids yet. You want to make one here or message me? Give me an offer, and I will tell you if I willing to part with it or not. You tell me. But again, this is my reaction. This is my response to Nick Spencer. I believe that was his name. Nick Spencer, a piece of shit commie, worked for Democrats. Of course he did. In politics, and he turned Captain America to a Nazi. And it was supposed to be a shocker, right? Where at the end he says, "Hail Hydra." Thanks, Salty, yeah. Where he says, "Hail Hydra." And it was revealed that the Captain America that we've had for 70 years, 80 years, has always been a Nazi. Has always been a Hydra member, right? Always evil. And then the backlash was what it was. From me, from a lot of people, right? They're like, "You're going to flip this guy into a Nazi? You guys are Nazis. You're the Nazis, Marvel. You're the National Socialists. You're National Socialists in America." And so what happened was that, I guess the way that they, quote unquote, fixed it was, what was it? One of the, what was it called? One of the things that Thanos used, one of the gems, I forgot which one it was. But they created, that gem created a classical version of Captain America. But the one that Captain America is around right now, he's a creation of that gem. He was never real. You know what I mean? So the Captain America that we've had for 70, 80 years has always been a Nazi. It's evil stuff, man. These people are evil. Captain America was born to fight Nazis by two Jews who created him. They wanted to see Nazis get it. And then Nazi-crats, like Nick Spencer, wanted to make the ultimate Nazi fighter into a Nazi. To own the right. Whatever, these are... you have these insider videos from James O'Keefe, right? I want to hear... Imagine what these guys say behind closed doors. From Obama to Michelle, to Biden, to that whole scumbag group, to the editors at Marvel. Imagine what is said behind closed doors, and if someone can get some audio of that, imagine that. I want to hear it because it's obscene what they say behind closed doors. I mean, the things that their editorial meetings are all about, how to fuck the characters, how to destroy the fan base. I mean, and then you got idiots. No, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Yeah, they do want to do that. They want to destroy what is. And again, their impulse is to destroy. They're nihilists. But they have to make it appear better than it is. They have to make it appear like, no, these are for noble reasons. No, you guys are nihilists. You want to destroy. That's what you want. So this is my reaction to it, to tell the Nazis, the Nazi-crats, that they're the Nazis. You're the Nazis, Marvel. How dare you make Captain America the ultimate Nazi fighter, the ultimate super soldier, born to fight Nazis. Born to fight Nazis into a Nazi. It's like if somehow, some way, they ever got their clutches into Pigman to turn him into a jihadist. That's really what it is. Thanks, Salty. Appreciate it. It is disturbing, Grogu, if you're referring to what Marvel did with Captain America. It is. And again, the Captain America, from what I gather at least, because again, I can't read that shit. I just read enough to find out what they did to him. And the one that we see now, supposedly, is a creation, a fake, idealized version that never existed. Meaning the one that has existed for 70 years was never the case. He was always a Nazi, always a Hydra member. Sick. I mean, these are sick, evil people. And whatever urge they get to see us get pissed off, it's like the fallout is too much. If that's their single thing, if that's what they want, right? We want to make them see you're destroying an icon. You are destroying him. It's like Marvel, right? They don't allow anyone but Muslims to write Miss Marvel because she's a precious, she's a piece of shit character, first of all. But they don't let anyone but Muslims write her. From Gail, whatever her name was. You know what? G. Willow Wilson? Is that her name? A piece of shit, convert. And then another guy, a Muslim. And they don't let anyone but Muslims write Miss Marvel. They're Muslims, super, right? Marvel. They don't allow any patriots to write Captain America. They only allow leftist communists, communazis, Nazi-crats to write Captain America. Art says, I don't think they're very intelligent. It'd probably be disappointing to hear like gossipy teenagers. Yeah, I know, believe me. But that's not, who cares what else? I'm talking about the evil of what they do and the joy that they get. And, that's the only joy they get, Yeah, we're going to make America Nazi, Imagine those meetings. So it's not even a point of, you have to suffer through a lot, no doubt, to hear what these scumbags say. The point is to hear them on record what they really believe, because there's always a two-face going on, meaning the left never tells us that they're communists. They are. But they know they can't do that quite yet. Until the country is fully communized, they can't cop to it. If they cop to it, then they alert Americans, and then we really have an internal war, then we really have a civil war at that point. They're like, we're going to lose if we declare ourselves as the communists we are. I mean, we would flat out lose. I mean, these Americans, they can't take that. So they're like, no, we love the country and all that bullshit. It's evil. It's evil. And these guys are scumbags. And they take our icons and they rape them. That's their purpose. They want to rape our icons, diminish them, destroy them, and make them where they can't come back. It's like I saw Indiana Jones movies. I can't watch the last one. I can't bring myself to do it. I really enjoyed those movies, and that's why I can't bring myself to watch it for any reason. I don't want to make a video about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see him diminished. I don't. I'd rather see him kicking the Nazi ass and going on adventures and finding out all these things. Let's see. Art says, I don't think they're very intelligent. It'll probably be disappointing to hear, like gossipy teenagers, a bunch of mean girls being like, wouldn't it be cool if we did X? They'd be so mad. Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think, on record, and that's why I do resent people who, you got James O'Keefe busting his ass to get us the truth behind the scenes of what these people actually say and actually believe behind closed doors. And people say, oh, we knew that. Fuck you. This guy busted his ass. His people busted their ass. They got this information. They got this intel. Okay, they got in the door. They got in the mind of these scumbags where they're never willing to say what they say on those videos publicly, ever. They can't. They have a private self and they have a public self, which they deny everything that they actually do. They always guss it up. They always put window dressing on their evil that they do. So we should honor a guy like James O'Keefe for going into the trenches, going into the mud, going into the dirt, and getting these guys to go on record with what they actually believe. And to call them out, and usually these people get fired. That's not something that someone who just says, oh, we knew that. That's not good enough. You saying that doesn't get them fired. James O'Keefe going out there, going out on the limb, putting himself as a target, a major target in this cultural war that the left is on against us. He puts himself out there, so we got to respect the guy. We can't just dismiss it and say, oh, we knew that. I don't care. We need to know more. We need to know what these people actually believe explicitly. It's important, and they get fired. And the reason why they get fired is so their crime bosses don't get hurt. They can, like, we'll sacrifice that idiot who tried to impress that girl, whatever, saying all this shit. It's all true. We don't deny it, but publicly we have to. So the left cannot be honest, and that's why they are. I mean, look, if you can't be honest with what your agenda is evil, and you are self-conscious about it. You are self-consciously evil, meaning they know if they have to lie to spread their agenda, they know their agenda is no damn good. They know that consciously. Salty says, Barack lies, monetize Captain Falcon. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but my God, talk about uninterested. And you know what? Mackie was fine as a Falcon, but he's a lead? He's not a lead. He's not a movie star. He's not a lead. He's just not. You should be at least a handsome Captain America, at least. He's really built and tall, and he's not. You never see him, like, at least, Chris Evans, who's a piece of shit commie, but he did a great job as Captain America. He was able to separate that and do a really good, credible job. And he busted his ass working out to look the part. Mackey's like, whatever. Maybe he'll throw some weights on, but who gives a shit? And he has no presence. He just doesn't. So it's unfortunate. I'm not going to watch it. I have zero interest. There was a certain point where I stopped watching Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, and I was actually shocked. I was like, holy shit. I would never have dreamed this. By the way, if anyone knows, I'm always interested in werewolf movies. That's the one monster that I can really get behind. It's like he's a victim. He's not a monster. He's a victim of a monster, and he becomes a monster himself. And they had this Wolfman movie, and they make it look so bad that I lost interest. I mean, I heard it sucked on top of that. But now Robert Eggers, the guy who just did Nosferatu, will be doing a werewolf movie. And that'll be out next winter. I think it's called Werewolf, whatever. It takes place in, I think, the 13th century. It should be good. It should be a quality horror movie, quality Wolfman movie, werewolf movie. Hope it is. But I'm always up for it. There's something about a man turning to a beast, into a monster, losing his humanity, and he's an innocent guy, a decent guy. He's always, they're always a victim. They're not like Dracula, and where they know the evil they do. Werewolves don't. Usually they're just victims. Like American Werewolf in London, the great American Werewolf in London. I love it. I love that movie. Classic, all-time classic. It's just thoroughly entertaining, and on top of that, the transformation and the horror is real. It's really funny, and it's really violent. And that design, like a wolf out of hell. I mean, it's a real beast, and the way it roars and the way it howls, and incredible. The actors were great. David Naughton, Griffin Dunn. I think it was his first movie. And it's funny, he was like a little pissed off. He said he was watching himself with the makeup, and he said, "This is my first movie. My parents are going to see me like this." He had those thoughts. It's funny. Porkon says 30 years ago, Fabian, how do you pronounce that? Nesesia, retcon Magneto's, yes. Retcon Magneto's Jewish origin to that of being a Sinti. Did he do that? Huh. I know that they tried to say that at one point that the Hydra were not Nazis, and his actual Magneto calling them Nazis and them accepting that term and saying about the Fourth Reich and all that. And it's on record in Marvel history. Grogu says they didn't just stop at making him evil. Look at what they are doing by making the Falcon into Cap. Yeah. I mean, it's just, Bucky, it's like, give it to Bucky. The actor's good. Sebastian Stan, he's good. He could have filled the part, clearly. He also has the more rugged look. He's more muscular. He's more handsome. Better voice. And he could fill that suit. But instead, they went, the route of, oh, the black guy. That's it. If it was someone else, maybe possible. But it's not Mackey. It's just not. I mean, he's not your leading man. He's not. And they're pushing hard this idea that the Red Hulk is in there. He's in there for supposedly 5 minutes. That's the word. So even that aspect is like, Grogu says they do take joy in it. It's inhuman. It is. It is, Grogu. These are evil people. And, collectively speaking, I'm speaking collectively speaking, as a group, they're evil. You might have ones who are less evil than others, and maybe they're useful idiots to some extent. But as a group, collectively, they are evil, out to do us in. Magic Me says, Bosch, I was interested to hear your take on Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Sam Harris going soft. That was an eye-opener. What do you think of Douglas Murray? I like Douglas Murray. He went a little soft also. He did. And I believe he may have been caught up with that piece of shit, Majid Nawaz, as well. But he didn't grovel the way Ayaan Hirsi Ali did and Sam Harris did. And I haven't heard him use the bullshit terms. I think he did it once or twice. I think he did it once or twice, and I didn't like it. And I think called him out publicly. But he's great. I mean, he's been great, especially after the horrific attack on 10/7, where all his colleagues are pro-Hamas, and he says, no, these guys are evil. They're a scum, and they have to be defeated. So he's been good. And it's interesting. It was my first debate, 2011, November 2011. It was Robert Spencer versus Andrew C. McCarthy from the National Review, who's become a real piece of shit. I mean, flat out piece of shit. Terrible. And I was somewhat friendly with him. He was going to my brother's restaurant, and I knew him through that, and I heard about him through that. And he was okay about the Islamic threat. Always compromising language. Anyway, him and Robert Spencer, the great Robert Spencer, who's I'm fortunate to have to call a friend. Jihad Watch. He's written 28 books. He's the Yoda of the anti-jihad movement. He really is. He's the master. I know myself, but he knows it chapter and verse, literally, explicitly, off the cuff. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. He and Robert Spencer and Robert C. McCarthy. I mentioned this before, but I'll just mention it again. We were going at a debate. They were having a debate online, and then it moved to the location in Florida at a conference for the Freedom Center, and I was invited to be there for my first visit there. So I was like, absolutely. A few hours before, and I went there mainly to be witness to the debate between Robert Spencer and Andrew C. McCarthy. I knew that Robert would kick his ass, but it's not the point. It's like, oh, we know that. Yeah, I want to see it. Like people say about James O'Keefe. Oh, we knew that. No, he gives us the details. He gives us these guys saying with it, and there's a price to pay for it. They always get fired, these people. So it's not just him just telling us what we know. I can't stand that. The guy busts his ass to get out there. It puts himself in the line of fire by the left. So I can't stand when people do that. You got to give the man his due. He deserves our respect. He's busted these rats open. Anyway, we're there. A few hours before the debate, which I must look forward to and greatly, I was asked to be part of the debate. I was like, you want to take Robert's, you could be on Robert Spencer's side. I said, really? I said, okay. I was a little shocked. I was like, I didn't expect that. I didn't establish myself as well back then. I mean, I was known to some extent. Pigman was out there already, at least in, yes, he was out there in print, actually. Propaganda was already out, so there was some notoriety. I gained some notoriety at that point. I had been drawing Muhammad already by that point as well. But it was not until 2015 where it blew up. Well, I was on a daily show 2011 also. I got a million viewers, exposed to Pigman. But anyway, the point is that I didn't think I earned that spot. But I was invited to be on Robert's side against the idea that is the situation Islam or is it Islamism? That's the problem. That was the setup. That was the premise of the debate. My, of course, is it's Islam as such. That's what motivates the jihad. So I'm invited to go there. I go speak to Robert, and Robert was a little suspicious. I don't blame him, because you don't know. Over the years, you don't know who you deal with sometimes. You just don't. You get burned. And he says, I told him I said, look, Robert, I mean, I learned mostly from you. Yeah, I did my research on my own. I read the Quran, all that, but a lot of his books I read by that point, many books. So we were on the same page. And we go there, and I make a presentation, and in the middle of my presentation, I go to basically applause and laughter. I didn't intend it to be funny, but I said, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to let you hear it again. I hope you guys can hear it. I think you can, but let's see. This is the moment that blew up that debate. It was really at that point, it's like, oh, okay, we got this. You should be able to hear it, but
in America, Middle East, Europe, and imagine in the past if we referred to enemy ideologies such as radical Nazism, militant communism, that kind of thinking leads us to try to find moderate Nazis,
So that was very, very, very fun. And just to mention, Magic Me, Douglas Murray was at that speech, at that debate. And I saw him, and I had known of him by that point. This is 2011. And that was cool. He was there. Dana Greenfield was there. I was with Robert Spencer. It was a hell of a day. And I remember some older women walking up to me and were like, who are you? Where have you been? What do you do next? I was like, hey, I'm just glad to be here. And that's how I am most of the time. I'm just glad to be here. I'm just glad to be with Comicsgate, I'm just glad to be here. Believe me, the shit that I've gone through, it's like, I'm lucky to be in the position that I am. All the shit that I get, all the death threats and stuff, hey, it's okay. Murray, I respect him, and I think he got a little limp about Islam for a little while, but I haven't heard him talk that bullshit language. I don't think so, not in the last few years at least. I think Majid Nawaz got his teeth into him for a little. I don't trust Majid. He's a communist Muslim. He really is. He's a Muslim, whatever you call it. Art says, how much do we have to donate to OMG to get them to go on a date with Marvel and DC employees? Yeah, exactly, man. I'd love to see that. And he always gets these rats. But it's good to see. It's good to see them freely speak about and try to brag about this evil that they're pushing. They're bragging about it. It's amazing. Mrs. Carruthers, sorry I'm late. Please, glad you're here. Hail CG King Faustin. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Kilroy was here. His buddy coming back at various stages of decomposition was great. Yeah, he really was. When Jack, David and Jack, I forgot the names. I love that movie. I got books on it. I got magazines on it. I've seen some figures. I haven't been blown away by the figures yet, but when I see the figure that I like, I'm definitely gonna get one. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, 1 second. Nachizi. Okay. Pork Hunt says pronunciation of Fabian Nichizi. Okay, Fabian Nichizi. Is that it? Thanks. Appreciate it. Martin McKnife says The Howling gives it a run for its money, in my honest opinion. I like The Howling. I liked it. I loved American Werewolf in London. This is a big difference there. I like The Howling. Rick Baker was lined up to be the makeup artist for that movie. And then ripped out of it to go to American Werewolf in London. So I think he had an understudy, and the guy was clearly good, And that werewolf scene was good. Where he turned to werewolf is pretty scary. it just wasn't the story that American Werewolf London. Something about American Werewolf London, I don't know, I can't exactly say what it is, but John Landis wrote it, directed it. It was more personal for him, a little more immersive for him, a little more engaged, a little more willing to bring it to the, doing everything that he could to make it as good as he could. And it's a one piece in that sense. And there's been no transformation from a man to a werewolf like that movie. It just hasn't been. And the stakes are dire as hell, and the situation, the love story was good. The characters from the people at the bar were great. The doctor was really good. The nurse was great. Jenny Agutter, is that her name? Good stuff, man. Just really good. And then from dark to light within a split second. So yeah, I did like The Howling. I just think American Werewolf London, Wolf was also good with Jack Nicholson, and James Spader and Michelle Pfeiffer. And it was more of a cerebral, sophisticated werewolf movie. Very good. I heard Murray say Islamist today. Did he? I can't stand that term. Yeah, he knows better. He knows his shit. I think he also knows politics to some extent. He does hobnob with a lot of these people. But still, he still does good work. Even people that I like also use that term. I call them out. Even friends, I do. But yeah, he doesn't fuck around too much. But Islamist. Oof. To me, it's Muslims being true Muslims is what they are. There's no need to create terms. Do you think, quote unquote, Islamists call themselves Islamists? Do you think Osama bin Laden said, I am an Islamist? My ideology is Islamism. No. I heard Murray say Islamist today. Yeah. Is Sam Harris still around? Sam Harris comes out of his rat hole every so often to see if he is not going to be shouted down by rational people who are sick of him. And every time he comes out, he gets shut down because he's a piece of shit. He spreads lies, flat out lies. It's not just, he's just, well, he don't know. He said it was probably the, what do you call that? The teleprompter glass that went into Trump's ear. The teleprompter wasn't shattered. Someone was murdered right in front of Trump. I mean, he's trying to take away the horror of that day and the heroism of Trump. That's what he's trying to do. He's a piece of shit. And I'm glad that Trump brought that out in him, because Trump brought that out in a lot of people. Trump has been the litmus test for a lot of people. He really has. I wasn't crazy about Trump. I always thought he was a sleazy celebrity. Never liked him. I never did. I thought he was terrible about the Muhammad cartoon contest where Megyn Kelly showed my cartoon to him. It was off screen because Fox wasn't showing it at the time. He rolled his eyes at that. He went to 4 or 5 different shows, TV shows, radio shows, and called us out. What are they doing, draw Muhammad? Come on, can't they draw something better? So I drew him as Muhammad. And I said, yeah. He goes, can't they draw something better? Something else? I said, sure. So I drew him as Muhammad. Anyway, and then, he became president. It's like, okay, he's been a good president. That's our objective reality. It's like, okay, I like him or not. It doesn't matter if I like him or not. I got to vote for the guy. It's better for the country. And now I've come to admire him. I mean, the way he, reacted to getting shot, it's heroism. It's epic. We don't see that in politics, ever. It's incredible. So, Porkut says, I enjoy Robert streams with David Wood. Yeah, me too. This week in Jihad. Great. Great stuff. Porkut says, Murray's language is softening. It did for a time, and I guess Magic Me says he said it again today. It's unfortunate. It sucks. But again, people that I admire, people that I consider friends also use that term. I call them out. We have arguments, but, some are worse than others, I got to say. Porkut says, Scorsese and De Niro presented the award to Kazan, so I wonder what turned their politics. Yeah, there is that. I think they were there. Were they there, Porkut? Is it they're the ones who gave it to him? They had worked with him. They had admired him. I think their admiration for him, superseded their politics, I think, for a time at least. Now De Niro's a madman, piece of shit commie. But, and also, I got to say, the Killers of the Flower Moon. First of all, that title. And it's about the torturing of these, whether it's true or not, maybe it is, but he's trying to say something about America. That's not America. That's not America. It's not. Enough with this shit, Marty. Do some good, clean gangster movie. What I mean? Have some fun. Enough of this pretentious stuff also. It didn't work. It really didn't. I didn't like it. Magic Me says, Bosch, where would you say the line is in publicly criticizing Islam where it starts getting dangerous in real life? Jawan Muhammad, And I got to say, I mean, no matter how many books Robert has written and how many speeches, this and that, I've got more death threats than him. And it's not even to try to, we used to joke about it like, hey, man, he had one blurb, right, where a guy said, he put it on his book. A guy said, Allah is going to rip your spine out and put it back, and rip it out and put it back. That's one of the blurbs on Robert's book, praise from the enemy. Whereas I had one from a leftist who said, you're the reason why I won't feel bad when we all die in a nuclear holocaust. So I said, Bobby, Robert, I said, whatever that guy meant to, told you, this person's saying that the entire country should be wiped out because of my cartoons. And the reason why I've gotten more death threats is not because I do more powerful work, more, expansive work on the issue of Islam and jihad. It's that my cartoons are instantly recognizable as an affront to Islam. Whereas you think these Muslims are going to read Robert's 28 books and analyze them, dissect them, and have debates about them? No. They see a single cartoon they want to kill. That's it. They don't need to know more. The fact that I'm Jawan Muhammad, that's it. So, and also, Magic Me, I think calling Islam the evil that it is, and it is evil, that's also going to bring you attention that you might not want, but you tell the truth. Let the chips fall where they may. It's an evil ideology, an evil religion, and it is a religion, guys. I know a number of Christians try to come to me, it's not a religion, and get very angry about it, very defensive, very protective of religion. It's like, guys, you should be more interested in the truth, not protecting your religion or the concept of religion as a good thing no matter what. It's not. Some religions are evil. It's a fact. Some religions are mixed bags, good, evil, all. Some prophets are evil. Some prophets are dangerous, violent, terrorists. Muhammad. Yeah. Donaldist says, Majid looks terrible. We know him and liked him. Don't know exactly what you're referring to, but he does look terrible. I didn't recognize him, actually, Donaldist. I didn't recognize that was Majid. I was like, what the hell? Looks like your average, typical imam. He really does. It's like, I know people go gray and old, but damn, what the hell? He looks like shit. He looks like a real fire-breathing jihadist, even though, again, he's a communist Muslim. Who Me says, it was just watching your last vid that saw the stream. Cool. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, Who Me. And guys, if you like my content, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. And follow me on X as well. The more the better. The more followers I get, the more chance I have being seen. My videos, I got a lot of videos now, over 80. A number of live streams. I have 19 Alex Toth videos. I keep intending to make the 20th, and anyway, whatever I do, you guys, I'm making a number of pages, a nice chunk of pages every single week for my other projects. So I'm trying to get a lot of stuff in at once. And I'm not saying I'm overworked. No, it's. I mean, look, I'm lucky to be working as much as I am. I'm lucky. And again, I never used to use that word lucky. I always thought it was a cop out. It's like, no, you earn your, you're fortunate, all that. Yeah, but I am lucky at the same time. Martin McKnife says, Rob Botton did the Howling. Okay, the genius who worked on the thing. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. That's his name, Rob Botton. So yeah, Rick Baker was part of the The Howling. He was going to be the guy, and I think Rob Bottin was under him, and then John Landis ripped Rick Baker off to American Werewolf London because he finally got the green light. He was waiting for it for a while. He wrote it when he was 19 years old. He did Animal House, he did a few other hits, and then all of a sudden, after years of being told by Hollywood, nah, John, what the hell is this? American Werewolf London? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? What is it? It's both. And all of a sudden, after he was a hit maker, they would say, you know what? How about that werewolf movie you had? Let's look at that again. Yeah, Martin, I got it. He did the effects, exactly. Porkhunt says, did you ever see I Was a Teenage Werewolf with Michael Landon? I did, many years ago. Don't remember too much. Kilroy was here. The nightmares were good. They were good. Oof. My God, that one Nazi nightmare with a werewolf, skull head, Nazis, bald. I mean, wow. I have, let me show you quick, guys, quick. Just speaking of that, I have this. Look at this. You guys might know what this is, but this is this tome, Metamorphosis, Rick Baker, 2-volume books about the master, and I'm at San Diego Comic-Con 15 years ago. Rick Baker walks by, and I had to go shake his hand and thank him for American Werewolf in London, and thank him for everything else he's done. And he goes, look, I got to the bathroom. Can you give me a minute? I said, please take your time, sir. And I got a chance to talk to him, and I told him I saw it when I was very, very young, 10 years old. He goes, 10 years old, you saw that movie? He goes, I'm sorry. I said, I'm not. And it was just great. It was great to talk for 5-10 minutes about his great work. And this is awesome. They have all his work in here. It's the guy is so deserving of this. It's a huge, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Beautiful. But the guy's a master. He's an absolute master. He's a great artist on top of that. A painter, illustrator. Martin McKnight says, I just want to talk about werewolves now. I love werewolves. From the old classic, The Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. and that makeup was really good. It was really good. And they got everything right. They got the snout right. It looked like a snout. It looked like turned up a little, and they darkened it up. It looked like, and then you got this stupid Wolfman movie right now, which, think about this also, guys. Think about this. You got the Wolfman movie where the Wolfman has less hair than the actor, meaning they balded out the actor's hair. They took away hair for a Wolfman, for a werewolf. Stupid. Porco says, you have Liking the Howling in common with John Malin? Or are you talking to me or the other guy? Yeah, it was good. It just wasn't as good as American Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London is a classic. It's an all-time classic. That's just a cult classic. It's really well done, well written, well acted. The special effects are second to none. We're talking 44 years ago, and no one has been able to come close. Now, the Wolfman 2010 with Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt. There's some good stuff in there. It's a little mixed bag, but there's some good stuff, and the makeup is, again, you had Rick Baker making the ultimate on all fours werewolf, and then you had him making the ultimate Wolfman who stands on two legs. And that face and the fur and the nose and the snout and the teeth and the eyes and everything was just right. The ears, he looked ferocious. And even, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to give away, but there's some stuff in there that's interesting, the visuals. And it's a dark movie. I can still watch it. I know it got heat and bullshit, whatever, man. It's a werewolf movie. I mean, to me, it's not American Werewolf in London, but it's high quality. They had to change the director late in it. That's unfortunate. So again, it's mixed. You had the guy who directed Captain America. I forgot his name. The first Avenger. He ended up taking over that movie, The Wolfman, 2010. And now Robert Eggers is making a werewolf movie. Again, it's probably going to be high quality. It probably will be. If it's like his other movies, it probably will be. So I'm looking forward to that. Grogu says, you drew Trump as Muhammad because of that? Face purple crying. Well, I drew Trump because Muhammad because he was such an asshole about it. You know, he was against free speech. He was basically calling us out. He wasn't calling out our would-be murderers. He didn't say shit about them. He took that as a given. You know, we're talking 2015, 10 years ago now, come May 3rd. I'm going to commemorate that day. I'm going to have a stream. I'm going to draw Muhammad. I'm going to make some other stuff. So definitely going to commemorate that 10 years. And again, I'm lucky to be alive, flat out. Those guys got in there. They would have killed all of us if they could. The word is they had grenades. They had weapons. They had so many. They were armed to the teeth. But anyway, so yeah, I drew Muhammad. I drew Trump as Muhammad with the Taj Mahal behind him. And he was like, what else are you going to draw? Why don't they draw something else? I said, okay. So I drew me drawing Trump as Muhammad. He was such an asshole about it. And again, I can forgive things that I can't. I mean, he went against free speech, but I can vote for the man and say he'll be a great president. And he will. And he has been. So I can separate that. But yeah. And then people said, oh, he knows you. He loves your stuff. I said, first of all, he doesn't. He don't know me. He knows about what I did. He trashed us indirectly, not by name. He goes, what are they doing, Draw Muhammad? So he was such an asshole about it. He really was. Art says, I would like to express my continued disappointment in the lack of good werewolf video game. I don't even know that there were any. I guess so. Maybe there should be if they have the other monsters. Porcon says Meryl Streep also applauded Kazan at the ceremony when Harris said to turn her back. Okay. Kudos to her for that. She's a good actress. She's a piece of shit commie, but, you know, good actress. Porcon says Scorsese and DiCaprio are lining up for another film. Yeah, I hope it's not some look how bad Americans are movie. I'm tired of that shit. I'm just tired of it. These goddamn comedies are so full of shit. Always. And also, you know, even Francis Ford Coppola makes the great Godfather, right? And it says it's about capitalism. No, you dumb fuck. It's about criminals who bypass capitalism to become criminals. They're not entrepreneurs. They're gangsters. It's not about capitalism, you dummy. But despite that, he made a great film. So, you know, but they're dumb fucks. I mean, a lot of these guys really are. I mean, you know, Scorsese, he's dumb. He is. He's a passionate director and all that. He makes some good movies, absolutely. Raging Bull, you know, Goodfellas, no doubt about it. Those early ones, not so great. I mean, they're not. Mean Streets, greatness? No, absolutely not. It wasn't great. It was just a hodgepodge of things and moments, and it wasn't a cohesive story. The King Comedy, really enjoyed that. Taxi Driver. Porcon says, do you have any copies of your illustrated Quran available for purchase? I have a few. I have one good one and two that were water damaged, unfortunately. I do have this one. This is the Danish Quran that I illustrated with double page spreads of moments from the Quran that were expressed in this angel Gabriel, Muhammad. I even had Moses in there, you know, because Moses and Jesus and Abraham were all Muslims, you know, according to Islam, right? According to I drew Allah with his angels, and his angels are pretty brutal, killing the jinns, you know. This is hell. So, Pork Hunt, you give me an offer, and we'll see. Here is Aisha, the 6-year-old, his 6-year-old wife being brought into his harem. You know, sick stuff. Christians versus Muslims at war. And then there's one, I think 2 images of Muhammad. Here's one of Muhammad. And I took a little liberties. This is the Kaaba, you know, the big black box in Mecca. And I told the writer, I said, look, or the editor, because he had just basically translated the Quran. I said, how about if I put symbols of all the other religions on top of it, just as a snapshot, instead of, you know, because they're supposedly inside all the symbols. He goes, yeah, that's fine. So I just created these type of symbols in there. And you got Muhammad. I gave him a little reddish hair, which he dyed his hair. And he's proselytizing, but some of them aren't really buying it. Some of them are chuckling, laughing their asses off. You know, so it's funny. So yeah, this is, and also drew, well, the cover is from the inside art. It's Paradise with the 72 virgins and the boys as beautiful as pearls. That's how they're described. I think he was trying to appeal to the homosexuals in the desert, trying to get them on board. But yeah, so give me an offer and we'll see. Pork Hunt. Message me on X if you want. Donaldus says Muslims are emotivists. No reason they want something for a moment and then it is gone. This is true. Definitely emotivists, emotionalists. A lot of quote unquote passion, but no thinking in general. The ones who do think, they think themselves right out of Islam. That's a fact. The smartest Muslims I've known, got the hell out. Porkin says, I still struggle with how the people of Iran were conned by Khomeini against the Shah. Yeah, I know. And even the commies there, right? They got together, and of course, what happens to commies after the Khomeini takes over? After there's quote-unquote revolution, they get arrested, imprisoned, killed. You know, they can't coexist. They will join forces to some extent, the commies and the Muslims, but in a moment of truth, whichever one has more power at that moment will take them out. Like the Muslims in China, you know. They're not running wild and free. Absolutely not. Because the ones in charge are the commies. The ones in charge of Iran are the Muslims. Grogu says, it's not just the fact that you draw it, you have that extra bit of courage to stand strong with your art. I appreciate that, Grogu. Thank you. You know, you do what you have to do. You do what you believe. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't. And you want some backup sometimes, you know, you really do. And it angers them deeply because you know where to hit it the hardest. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm worse than your average infidel because I was born with the gift of Islam, even though we're all born with the gift of Islam. The conceit of Islam is that we're all born Muslims and we're all discouraged away from it. We're all ripped away from it, right? But the idea is that they look at me and other ex-Muslims as worse because we are giving up the secrets of Islam to mere infidels. You're not supposed to tell them that. That's how the left is. It's like the Omerta, right? The mob. They don't want others to know their business outside of it. They want to keep that secret so they can use it against their victims. Same here. Porkon says, if David Koresh had risen in the 2000s, he'd likely have become a Muslim. Who knows? Who knows? Porkon says, thinking of reviewing Miller's 300? Yeah, it's a great book. I reread it recently also. It's great. It's legitimately great. It's his last great work. He put his all into it, busted his ass, story and art. Lynn Farley, I mean, great. A little of the Bigfoot art, that's when he started to do that Bigfoot art. Okay, you know. But overall, it was beautifully done. Very powerful, very impactful. And he still has it in him to produce great work. I don't know if he will, but he still has it in him. He's still here. He's still alive. I mean, what the hell, Frank? Porkon says, I love Carpenter's The Thing, me too. It was very, very scary. Very well done. Kilroy was here. Wow, I don't know what you're referring to, Kilroy. Porkon, shit. Yeah, Art. That tome of Rick Baker, it is awesome. I went right, like a beeline, right to the American Werewolf in London parts, and then there's a King Kong part where he wore the he designed and wore the King Kong suit from 1976 version of King Kong on the Twin Towers. And I think he said literally when he was done at the end of the day, sometimes he'd take out his boots, his fur boots, and there was like an inch of sweat in there. I believe it. I mean, that's crazy. And all things, as a, I still enjoyed it. It's not, I know it gets a lot of shit, but there are still elements there like, holy shit. When he's breaking down that door, hey man, it's really good, very effective. That roar that they had, the pounding on it was really effective. Porkon says, have you read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run? He wrote a great werewolf story in that series. I tried to get into Swamp Thing. I couldn't do it. I tried. I even got the series. I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. But if it's a werewolf story, I will definitely check that out. I'll definitely check that out. I just don't know what it was. I couldn't get there. I couldn't do it. Did he write one with Superman and Swamp Thing? I think they did it. Rick Al Williamson inked one of those. Porkon, I didn't realize Benicio had acted with Blunt twice. Yeah, that and Sicario, which was it's a hell of a movie, man. That ending, hey, I applaud Villeneuve, if that's how you pronounce it, for going there. The kind of ruthlessness, the kind of, you can argue, inverted. I mean, brutal, but very effective, especially in a movie. And that's that climax. I mean, wow. Anyway, John Porter says, hello everyone. Hello, John. Martin Joe Johnson. Yes, Joe Johnson. Thanks, Martin. Was the guy who directed Captain America, First Avenger, which was really good, by the way. I like that movie. And then he came in after the fact on The Wolfman. I think they had fired the director at a certain point, maybe early on. But Joe Johnson, maybe even, I don't know exactly details. I don't remember exactly. But Joe Johnson, yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry, I got to back up here, and I do got to get going. But Art says, you misunderstood, Bosch. The man got bit by a wolf and got rabies. That's why it's called Wolfman. He's just a fever-laden hobo. Ugh, it's so bad, man. And again, how can you fuck that up? It's like, come on, guys. It's called, first of all, you're lying to the audience. You're calling it Wolfman, okay? You're not calling it diseased guy, man. You're not calling it something virus bitten by a guy who had a virus, man. It's Wolfman, okay? You got to bring the supernatural in there. It's a supernatural story. It's a supernatural thing. It's not a scientific thing. It's, you can, I guess, go there to some extent, but it's a supernatural thing. It's a supernatural creature. Wolf, there are a few parts in there really good where Jack Nicholson's, turning. He's becoming a little more alpha from his nebbish, nerdish type persona. He's becoming a little more edgy. His hair's getting filled in. He's looking leaner. He's looking more healthy. His eyesight's improving. His hairline's even going lower. I don't know what they did, but it looked really, really good. It looked very effective. He was getting younger and younger and more powerful, and he could hear, anything like Daredevil style. I mean, he could really hear conversations from way across on the phone. It was good. And there's one moment where he visits some shaman type guy, some Indian guy, very old guy who knows about this stuff, who knows about the curse of the werewolf. And it's a really great exchange. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. People said it fell apart at the end. I mean, look. Sometimes you got to look at what's really happening. Besides the way that it's being done, you can say, "Oh, that looks a little hokey." It's not. It's the fact that this man gives up his humanity consciously to save someone that he loves. He knew the price he had to pay. And that, to me, overrides any kind of awkwardness that may have occurred. Mike Nichols was not an action director per se, maybe needed someone else to shoot those scenes, maybe. I don't know. But something like that, it's even okay. Secret Wars 2, right? Al Milgrom drew it. It was diminished. Mike Zeck would have been a lot better if he could have done it. John Romita Jr., even Sal Buscema was supposed to originally draw it. The story is about a godlike being wanting to experience human life and wanting to become a human being. Ultimately, it's a god trying to become a man. And when you look at it that way, I can enjoy the series. I'm like, okay, that's the overall gist of it. I'm like, okay, I think it's a legitimate, good story, and it is. It works, and it's funny stuff in there too. Mephisto goes running like a bitch. It's hilarious. He loses his temper beyond her at times. He's like a child, But when you look at the whole picture, like the wolf, you realize, okay, damn, that's a big moment in there. James Spader is really good in there too, as the villain. Does a great job. Christopher Plummer's in there also as the publisher of the publishing house that they do work at. Really good. Porkhunt says Trump also stood up for all genders toilets in 2015. He often pivots on public opinion. He does. It's an interesting phenomenon with a guy like him because the guy is old. He's 78 years old, right? The guy is still, unlike most people, he's not set in his ways. He is willing to be persuaded into something good. That's a very rare trait, especially in older people. Older people are just completely locked in. That's it. And he's not. So he hasn't said, he's been talking about a good game about free speech, but if he ever comes out for Muhammad cartoons in any capacity, I'm like, all's good. That's it. Then he realizes, he shouldn't have called us out. He should have called the savages who try to come and kill us. They got their heads blown off. If they didn't, they would have broke through that cop and killed him, and then killed who knows how many of us until they got shot down. There was a SWAT team there, but they had gone with Harriet Builders at that point, and they were, I guess he needed some little more security going to his own team. Anyway, Porkhunt says, anyone who says Islam is a religion of peace has never read the Quran. Yeah, that's for sure. And then you have a schmuck, like absolute schmuck, like Glenn Beck, lying to himself and to the world. He was on CNN, I think, at the time, years ago. He goes, I read the Quran, okay? And I can unequivocally say that it's a religion of peace. You're a liar. You're a liar. You lied. He lied to us. And then he had a book called It Is Islam, like the problem is Islam, something along those lines. And then he did a whole tour undercutting the premise of his own book. It's like, he kept saying Islamism. It's like, bro, you just said Islam. It's Islam. That's the problem. And then you call it Islamism. Anyway, I don't trust that guy. I just don't. Porkhunt says, I've looked for it online to purchase, but nowhere. So thanks for showing. I'll chat on email next week. Yeah, it's very rare. Had a short run. I was invited to do an interview for the biggest Danish network, I guess. And they were supposed to transcribe the interview, publish it. They didn't do that out of fear. And one of their editors said, this is unacceptable. We already interviewed the guy. Why wouldn't you just take that and put it into into text and publish it on our website? Why not? And they eventually did. But it was a little disappointing, I gotta say, because it was a really good interview, very intense, good questions, and Donald Dist says, isn't Islamic heaven full of prostitutes? That is one of the stupidest things. People's souls have bodies. Prostitutes, I guess you could say that, but I guess they see all women as prostitutes, right? Islam. Just women are necessary evil, that they can be used for sex and bring in male heirs into the world. That's about it. Outside of that, it's worthless. That's why, sometimes I resent guys on the right just trashing women in general. It's like, guys, I was raised in this evil ideology, not just where they trash women, they beat the shit out of them. There was not one woman who was unaffected by that in my family. Not one who wasn't beating the shit out of her parents and brothers and husbands. So I have a little more sensitivity on that, and also about the Jew hatred, the cheap shots at Jews. I was raised to hate Jews. I was raised to call them the scum of the earth, to consider them to be scum of the earth. So I'm a little not defensive about it, but I can't roll with it. Let's just say I can't. It's flat out evil, and even passive Muslims are Jew-hating women haters. They just are. Women are worthless outside of having sex with them and getting pleasure, and also bringing male heirs. These are average Joe American, Muslims, meaning they're passive Muslims, and still they have that kind of hardcore hatred. Porkon says, I would love to have been a fly on the wall in Muhammad's harem when he wasn't present. I expect they mocked him. Yeah, probably. The guy was a piece of shit, so yeah. There are whispers to reinstate the Shah's son in Iran if Israel collapse. The IRI, Syria will be the next shit show with IS now in government. If so, good. It's better than what they have. It can't be worse. Donald just says, Bosch, I want you to know that there are thousands of people like me. I have never expressed my admiration and appreciation for what you do. Hey, man. Very, very kind to you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I don't tend to get embarrassed by things like that, but thank you. Magic Me says, what do you think of Frank Miller's Daredevil? Love it. Love it. Without that, he couldn't have got to, I think, Dark Knight. He needed to set the stage there for his crime comics. And in particular, he went from crime comics to mystical ninja warriors, right, in his later run, and then he went back to pure crime when it came to Daredevil Born Again, when it came back to issue 227. It's great. And, arguably, I'd argue that my favorite comic of Miller's is Dark Knight Returns, from the writing and story, from the storytelling. But I think on a technical aspect, on a technical level, his writing for Daredevil Born Again is probably his best writing. The writing. I think it's his best writing. I think he was, focused on that aspect of it. And he had this masterful artist, Dave Mazzucchelli, to take that and just make it, amp it up for all it was worth. Whatever he wrote was good, and Mazzucchelli just took it and made it even greater. So, love Miller's Daredevil. John Romita Jr. Still to this day says that Daredevil, Man Without Fear, that Frank Miller wrote, that he drew, is his best work. Arguably. I want to see that artist edition. John Romita Jr. and Al Williamson's art, black and white art, in big 14 by 17, whatever. My God, it was 14 by 21, I believe, is the Batman Year One artist edition. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, Kilroy, the Baker books, yeah, they're awesome. Let me see something quick, guys. You guys keep me here. I do appreciate it. I do got to get going, but I just want to show you something quick regarding this. Let me just show you something quick. It's funny, look at this also. Look at this. I think Greystoke or Gorillas in the Mist. I forgot which one that was for. They were so lifelike that I think people mistook them for actual apes. Some of the apes that he made. He's that good. Let me go back here. His King Kong, that's Rick Baker in the King Kong suit. There he is. Rick Baker. The undersuit under the fur. It's awesome. And let me show you quick the highlight for me. Even the wolf parts are good too with Jack Nicholson. And he had a little, he unfortunately put, Jack Nicholson was sensitive to a certain type of makeup, a certain thing that they had, and he mistakenly used it after being told that. And he goes, hey, Ricky, did you use, he goes, yeah. He was like, yeah. And, Rick Baker said Jack was great, regardless. He was great. These are early drawings of Rick Baker, the werewolf of Jack decomposing early. I think even before they had the actors. Early shots of the transformation, visuals that they put together, how they're gonna, blow out the snout the way it came out. I mean, you guys look at that. If you haven't seen it in a while, it's just worth watching again. Look at this. They had put David Naughton, the actor, in the ground, in the wall, actually in the ceiling. The floor, excuse me. But it's a ceiling underneath to make it look like his body's being stretched. Even that middle one was awesome. And the hands, look at that. Look at this. Look at this stuff. His body was stretching, the bone cracking. That's Griffin Dunn. That's the makeup design that they had, where he had that big, and there was one moment where he's talking to David in the hospital for the first time they meet after his death, and his whole neck is ripped out, and he's talking to him, and there's a little flap of skin that's flapping. That was unintentional. It was a serendipitous thing because there was a little liquid on it, so it kept flapping back and forth. And they said, "You know what? Keep it. It works. It works." A little more, guys, and then we're gonna get going. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Griffin Dunn, that werewolf, really did a number on him. This is one of the Nazi werewolves, which is on the cover of the other one. He also did Bela Lugosi, Martin Landau. Look at this. One of the early takes on the werewolf right there. They made a lot of those. Look at this. Figuring things out. How best to do it. A wolf right out of hell. Hope I'm not showing too much. I mean, but look at that. Look at that. The ferocity. Look at that. The eyes. Look at that beast. That's Rick Baker with his creation. How cool is that? That's awesome. All the victims of David Naughton in the movie theater. Look at that. That's the full shot of the werewolf. They never showed that part too close, which is fine. All these different prototypes of David, mid-form, mid-transformation, and then the full wolf suit. I mean, look at that. Look at this. Look at that shot. Look how... Whew, look at that. I mean, that's just wild. Wild. Great stuff. Great stuff. So let me go answer a few more questions, and then we'll have a little give and take, guys. And again, if you guys want to offer anything for my original art, let me know. Message me. Give me an offer for the Quran book, the other drawings, and we'll go from there. Donald, you guys are such movie buffs. Yeah, love movies. Great art form. And it is an art form. This idea, well, it's not art. Yeah, of course it is. It has so many arts combined in one. From stage play, from acting, from music, from, I mean, it's everything combined in one. And when it's great, it's so great. Like Godfather, it's great. Objectively great. It's not a subjective thing. Oh, I didn't like it. I liked it. We argue about it. No. Some people might love it more than others. Some people might not be as passionate about it, but it's a great piece of work, objectively speaking. I don't buy this idea where art is all subjective. You got a piece of shit drawing. It's a piece of shit drawing. That's it. That drawing that Rob Liefeld made of Captain America is a piece of shit drawing. It's disgusting. No one can actually like it. I don't give a shit what they say. You can't. You can't say that's good. It's not. It's a horrific, I don't know what it is. It's a terrible, and it was really stupid because he clearly didn't intend that. It's like he just fell into it, and no one told him, we can't publish that. What the fuck's this? No one told him that. It's even worse. It was a failure across the board of quality control. Porkon says, I like in Miller's art taking a similar path to Picasso. I call him Picasso. His work over the past 20 years, much more abstract, even cubist elements. I don't know. I think if some of it is flat out substance fueled. I really do. From what I gather, the guy has fucked himself up. I think a lot of it is substance fueled. I think a lot of it is unconscious. In that sense, it wasn't purposeful. It wasn't like that's what he's growing. A lot of it is absolute shit. It sucks. Flat out sucks. It's not good. It's not a lot of, thought or design in it. A lot of it is just absolute horrific choices that he made, fueled by drink and drugs and who knows what else. From what I gather, he mentions that his abuse in his stupidly named movie, American Genius, Frank Miller, American Genius. You can't be part of a movie and promote it and talk about it and be at premieres and it's called you a genius. I just don't know. I don't know. I couldn't do that. Cartoonist Bosch Fawston. That's it. That's what I am. Anyone wants to call me other names? Good, bad, evil? Okay. Yes, Porkon Johnson also directed the Rocketeer, which is really good too. He's an old school director, very good. He was able to salvage, I think, Wolfman to some extent. But I think he came in late, so again, it's a mixed piece, but it's still pretty effective. And the werewolf elements are very effective. Porkon says Swamp Thing, number 40, had Miller's werewolf story. Okay, I will note that. Give me 1 second. Swamp Thing 40. Because that's, I can get my teeth in there, absolutely. I'm very mixed about more. I've heard a lot of stuff. I read The Watchmen, clearly. It is good, no doubt. 1 second. But he's such an asshole. He's such a ambitious asshole about comics and about what they should be and who likes them and who, is very nasty. He's such a pretentious asshole, But he was a great writer, and Watchmen is a good piece of work. The best elements of Watchmen, of course, are not having to do with him. It's having to do with his interpretation of Ditko's characters. That's what it is. And because of that, he's the most compelling character in the entire graphic novel. And Moore thought he was going to bring him down, going to bring down Toth, make him look like a wacko Rorschach. Nope. He was the most compelling character in there, flat out. The most moral character in there as well, regardless of what, Moore tried to turn him into. The most fully formed character also. From his origin to when he really became Rorschach, as he noted. Okay, yeah, DC Comics presents 85 with Swamp Thing Supermaster. Okay, that's what it was. Rick Veitch, I think, penciled it, and Al Williamson inked it. A little limpy art here and there. I wasn't crazy about Veitch at times. Porkon says, in Jim Valentino's Guardians of the Galaxy, he revealed that Starlin's universe... I do gotta get going, guys, sorry. I'm reason to get going, but he revealed that Starlin's universe Church of Truth got tired of waiting for their messiah, so engineered one who became the Beyonder and went back in time? What? In Jim Valentino's Guardians of the Galaxy, he revealed that Starlin... Revealed, you could say, but he interpreted, he made up his own story. Revealed that Starlin's Universal Church of Truth got tired of waiting for their messiah, so engineered one who became the Beyonder. Is that, I guess, lore now? Is that official? Porkon says, I also loved his and Claremont's Wolverine Limited series. Oh, yeah. I can't believe Marvel didn't get the pair back to do a sequel in the last 20 years. Yeah. It was great. It was really, really good. Miller was hitting on all cylinders at that point also. He was really doing well. And it was a nice change of pace from Klaus Janson, where Joe Rubinstein inked it. He really did a good job with his nice brushwork. Really interesting take on it. And he had made, I think his model was Clint Eastwood, if you look at it. And it's funny because Hugh Jackman at times resembles a younger Clint Eastwood. So it looks a little like Hugh Jackman at times, which is interesting. Never intentional, clearly, but looking at it now, it's like, yeah, very, very cool. Miller just went off on there too. He left a lot of space on his pages because he knew that Claremont is verbose. What did Claremont do? He wrote down to Miller's level and didn't write as much. Maybe as a cross purposes there. Pretty funny, but it was great. Porkon says, I think John Romita Jr.'s Punisher Warzone is up there with Man of Fear. Love that. I mean, I would argue that John Romita Jr.'s Punisher is probably the best Punisher. I loved John Buscema's, Goran Parlov's, fantastic. I didn't really care for Steve Dillon's, I don't know, a little limpy, a little weak looking compared to the other guys. John Romita Jr. made him into a monster. He made him into this big, brutal, broken nose, broken jaw, monster. And it was very effective. Zex was good, except for the white boots. It just doesn't make sense that he would be wearing white boots and white gloves. And I guess they want to keep the skull thing going, the white, but it doesn't work. Just keep that skull. That's all. Kilroy was here. I met Frank a few times on his Sin City signing. It was cool. I met him also. The last conversation I had with him was 10 years ago. He wasn't quite there. 5-10 minutes, sat there and talked about Pigman and his work and Holy Terror, his influence on me, but he wasn't quite there. Porkon says people took Miller's physical decline to be alcoholism, but he was in his New York office at Ground Zero during 9/11, and I heard he was attending the mesothelioma clinic on Broadway in 2010s. Supposedly he mentioned in that documentary his substance abuse. That was the word. And it's unfortunate. He was trying to get away from him calling out the communist Occupy movement. It says I wasn't in the right place. My mind was in the right place. He said, yeah, it was, Frank. It was, and you were right to call them out. I guess it didn't work out for him. People called him out for it, but whatever. Magic Me says, after all these super duper lefty dudes like Neil Gaiman and Warren Ellis getting Me Too'd, it would be great if the reputation of the great and based Frank Miller was resurrected. I know he's better than all of them. Far, I mean, his work compared to those guys, give me a goddamn break. Gaiman, I could never, ever penetrate the Sandman. I couldn't do it. A lot of bullshit being thrown around. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can't get in here. He didn't make it accessible. He didn't make it appealing, entertaining, engaging. Not for me, at least. He just didn't. Magic Me says it sucks. He apologized for Holy Terror. It does suck, and but the work itself is an apology. The work itself is not. I mention it, and I'll mention it again. Talking out of school, I guess, but his girlfriend at the time. We were supposed to have dinner. Me, my woman, Miller, and his. He didn't show up twice. His girlfriend did. And she said that Frank felt he didn't go far enough. And I'm like, after I read it, I was like, absolutely. He went half-assed. And then he made apologies for it prior to his release. MTV, he was on there once, and he was on Barnes & Noble, some sitting with Bob Schreck. That guy's a mess. Ugh. But anyway, he said, I don't know squat about Islam. It's like, well, why? Why, Frank? You studied your ass off for 300. You would imagine you would study your ass off for a book that takes on the Islamic enemy. Why not, dummy? So stupid. I admire the hell out of him. I wouldn't be a cartoonist without Frank Miller. I wouldn't be a cartoonist without Daredevil and Dark Knight Returns and all these things and Daredevil Born Again. But God damn it, nobody probably pisses me off or did disappoint me more than him. He talks a good game about free speech. He called himself a controversial artist. It's like, give me a fucking break, Frank. He never drew Muhammad. And you talked a good game about free speech until 2005. when the Muhammad cartoonists were threatened with death? Where was your Muhammad cartoon? Where were you? Where were you, Frank? I know you draw Black Lives Matter bullshit. I know you do that. Where were you when artists were murdered? Charlie Hebdo. Where the fuck were you, Frank? Mr. Free Speech? Give me a break. Give me a break. He talked a great game for free speech until the moment of truth came. And then he was like silent. It's like, and I call him out in my article, my Draw Muhammad challenge. Check it out. It's on my website, bossfawson.com. It's in the blog area. It's everything I've wanted to say about free speech and Draw Muhammad. And I call out Frank Miller in at least a paragraph or two. Just say, hey, Frank, you stopped flapping your gums about free speech when it really came to a head. When there was it was under real threat. Human beings were slaughtered because of it. Where the hell were you? Where's your Muhammad cartoon, bro? You know? The fuck. So yeah, love him. A great artist. His work will stand the test of time. It pushed the medium further. All that's true. And on top of that, I can say, what the fuck, Frank? So, okay. Porcon says, love practical effects. The last film I remember after the Thing and Werewolf that had great practical effects was first Hellraiser. Didn't see that. I know of it. Art says Hellraiser is getting a 4K remaster. Will be in theaters next month. Cool. Down on this nasty stuff. I lost a little context here, guys, but Grogu says, damn, Rick Baker would kill adapting comic artist Mark. Porcon says Rick Baker would kill adapting comic artist Mark A. Nelson's creatures to the big screen. He's a master. I mean, he's the monster master. I mean, that's what he is. Night J. Art says, haha, have you seen Liefeld's remake of that image? He redid it with Falcon. I think I did. It's horrific. It's just such a piece of shit drawing. And, I don't want to hear any excuses for it. It sucks. It's a kind of thing that goes from the stupidity of a bad artist going right to print. It's like, what the fuck, guys? There was no quality control here. He could have said, hey, Rob, but they weren't considered quality, clearly. Porcon says, I hate Zack Snyder. Okay, Porcon says, Veach's Swamp Thing was a stronger run than Moore's, but he got fired from that title before finishing. Okay. I hate Zack Snyder, but the Rorschach actor put in a great performance. He did. He was very good in there. I remember it was 2010, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it came out. And a Muslim cousin of mine called me after he saw it that night. He goes, yo, man, that's you. That's you about Rorschach. And I think he was trying to make an insult. I'm like, hey, man, I love Rorschach. Why? Because he has a spirit of Ditko in there, despite the fact that, Moore tried to diminish him. Jody says, I'm excited about the country with Trump now, but clearly remember his response to your cartoon. I know. Was awful. Looking forward to what you have planned on May 3rd. Yeah, me too, Jody. Yeah, he was, again, I can vote for him proudly, call him a hero for what he did. He made a very heroic thing. Again, who you are when things go to hell is who you really are. And Trump showed us who he really is. He showed us. He said, fuck you guys. Fight, fight, fight. That's heroism. That's not a politician. That's a guy going up and telling his people, I'm okay, and we still got to fight. They almost try to kill me right now. I'm bleeding, but that moment was epic. Absolutely epic. I got choked up. Felt very patriotic. And I liked him before that, but man, that was a clincher. It was a clincher for Elon Musk also. That was it for him. He said, that's it. That's it. You can't fake that kind of courage. You can't. So yeah, Jody, I still, I don't lie to myself, say, well, he didn't do that. Yeah, he fucked up. He trashed us about the free speech event. Shouldn't have done that. But again, I can overlook that and say, okay, yeah, I don't like that. And I'm going to vote for him. It's like, hey, Frank, what the fuck? Where's your Muhammad cartoons, Frank? And still recognize the fact that Dark Knight Returns is great, that Born Again is great. There's this idea where you have to completely wipe out everything in the past. No. There are elements of people that you like and then elements you don't like, and you have to be honest about them. You can't say, well, because I love him so much, all that stuff can go by the wayside. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to throw free speech to the Islamic wolves, as Trump did. It's not good. It's not okay. And then It's not okay what the left did to him. And he fought against it and won. And now he's kicking ass. Awesome. Porkon says, Claremont agrees with you about Miller using Eastwood as a model for Wolf. Okay, cool. Claremont suggested if Wolvie got cast in the 80s that Eastwood wouldn't take the role. Bob Hoskins was his second choice. Yeah, I mean, Clint is 6'4" also. I know Hugh Jackman's tall, but at that point, I don't think it would have worked. But it's cool as a model, to bring a little of that Clint Eastwood persona into Wolverine. That's pretty cool. That Dirty Harry element. Porkon says the only Sandman issues I could get through was later in the run where Mark Hempel was on art duties, the Conley ones. I know of that one. I know that one. Again, I couldn't do it. Porkon says, did Lynn Varley have a stance on Islam? I don't know. I know that they had broken up, divorced not long after 9/11, maybe when he was working on Holy Terror. Maybe that didn't help. Maybe the relationship. I don't know. Porkon says there's evidence emerging that the Spartans originated from a Jewish tribe, which makes their battle even more significant. Huh. Interesting, if true. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. If you like any of the art that I was showing, let me know. I'll show you one more time. I intended this for an art auction, but I got into a conversation, as always, which I always appreciate. I have Captain America calling the Nazis who made him into a Nazis. Marvel, you're the Nazis, Marvel. I have James Dean as Muhammad, Prophet without a cause. I have one of the alternative covers for Typical One, probably a year or two before I finished the graphic novel. I have this image of Howard Rourke having one of his buildings built, and I have the Walker. Bob Hoskins was a very good actor. I don't know if he could have done Wolverine, though. Wolverine has to have some kind of heroic appeal also, and Hoskins was just short and fat, from what I remember. I don't think he had the heroism in him. I just don't think so. Bob Hoskins showed that Wolverine Berserker turned in Long Good Friday. I think I remember that. Crime, he was a private eye, I think. Good actor, but I don't think so. I think Wolverine needs that heroic quality. He needs a little appeal, more so than just a short, fat guy. People said, Danny DeVito would be great. That's just stupid. It's dumb. Guys, you take care, be well. And if you want to make some offers after the fact for my original art, let me know. Donaldus, thanks for having us, Bosch. So cool to stumble upon your live stream on YouTube. Thanks, Donaldus. And if you haven't subscribed, if you can do that, I would appreciate it. And also, if you just share the videos, guys, I would appreciate that as well. Art, adios, Bosch. Still suggest a Pigman sign up so we can post it in CG streams. Okay. So there's something to that. I'm wrapping my mind around the setup prior to the launch. So thanks. I will definitely keep in mind. I'll look at everything that FMC writes on their thing to see what I can do also. I'll figure it out. Guys, take care. Be well. Have a great Friday night, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys. Be well. Thanks, man.